Welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and as always, I will be your host here from the lovely, lovely school, Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Joining with me, of course, is always, no, he's not lost. He's still here, still looking very scruffy, man.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Tyler Prickett, ladies and gentlemen, he
How's
is
it
back.
going, everybody? I'm back and better than ever. I'm
Good, man.
super excited to be back here again and recording another show with you guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I love, by the way, you're rocking your Bears gear.
Yep. It's not an Alshon Jeffrey jersey. It's actually
Really?
Anthony Miller.
Really? Okay.
I gotta mix the old with the new, and I got Anthony Miller. So I mean, I don't want people thinking this is Alshon Jeffrey because it's definitely Anthony Miller. It's Miller time.
You know what? I think he's doing a great job wearing 17. So
Yeah, me too.
He's holding his support on that. But yeah. So guys, obviously NFL season's tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. We're gonna be talking a little bit about that, but we've got a lot to talk about because obviously NFL season kicking up. We got a lot of things to shed through. Some big news went down over the week. Some big news happened today. So you ready to get into this, man?
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
Well,
I'm
let's
excited.
jump into this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to kick it off, of course, Ezekiel Elliott. We've been talking about this one, ladies and gentlemen, for a while. Talking about him going back and forth with the Cowboys. Well, it is official. A deal has been done this morning, I believe, around 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning when everybody seemed to be asleep. Might have been earlier even. I don't know. But it seems like everybody thought this deal was going to take a little bit longer to happen, but they made it happen. 6 years, $90 million extension, $50 million will be guaranteed to Ezekiel Elliott. He will now make $103 million, making him the highest paid running back in NFL history. And his quote was basically saying, I think I deserve this because I think, quote unquote, I am the best.
Right. Well deserved. I mean, I was talking about this last night on the NFL Unwrapped podcast. I was just talking about it because, Ezekiel Elliott, other than Saquon Barkley, who are you really going to put ahead of this guy? I mean, you can talk Todd Gurley and everything, but, the injury history there, Zeke doesn't have an injury history. Right. And it talks about pure talent. Ezekiel Elliott is second to none. Yeah. I said, you put Zeke Elliott in the Rams offense, he does numbers. I don't even want to know what those numbers would be like.
Yeah, well, see, it's interesting when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott because, look, I got nothing but respect for the guy.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I know we're going to differ on this because we've differed on this from when we've been talking about this for sure. I mean, look, do I think he's a great running back? Certainly. He's got that talent, the style. He's got the speed, the strength. I mean, when you talk about a prototypical running back in the NFL, he's probably what you're looking for. 6 feet, 225, 4.4 40-yard dash. But for what his running style is, I mean, look, what do running backs do? They got to run the ball. That's what they're paid to do. But now in the NFL, when you add on the fact that they need you to also, they want you to be a good blocker. They want you to also be a good pass catcher. They want you to be able to do multiple things now in the game. And while Zeke is talented, I mean, let's be for real about this. His catching, while getting better, it's still only so-so.
Yep.
His blocking skills they're getting there, but he's one of those guys who kind of just throws his body into people, which is great. Don't get me wrong. You're sacrificing yourself by all means. I appreciate that. But it's like square up with the guy, close in on him a little bit, because there's been times where he's done that and whiffed, and when you're going up against the better pass rushers, say Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald, and you're the last line of defense for your quarterback, you can't be whiffing on those blocks. So I get it, but I'm still on the side of you didn't have to pay him. You could have waited. You could have just let with Tony Pollard and Alfred Morris. Because here's the thing. You split the carries with those guys 150 apiece. You maybe get 500-600 rushing yards from them, however many touchdowns. The fact is, you're probably going to be throwing the ball still a good 60-70% of the time outside of the 25-30% you're going to try to run the ball,
See, yeah, but the thing is, what I said back when we were talking about this and Zeke starting his holdout, I was talking about how the offense runs through Zeke. I mean, honestly,
they're built around the running.
I mean, they could win their first 4 games without him.
Yeah.
Because they're going up against pretty garbage opponents. But that's besides the fact. I think the offense runs through Zeke. This guy is I don't want to say generational talent because I'm going to talk about Saquon Barkley as a generational talent.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, there's not much this guy can't do. I mean, you want to talk about pass blocking, but, that's not enough to get him off the field. And without him, that team is not nearly as good. I mean, then you can afford to double Amari Cooper. You could afford, to take away, Dak Prescott.
Right.
I mean, you could just stack the box. I mean, these guys can't do anything. But now you have to, be concerned about Ezekiel Elliott as a pass-catching threat, screen passes, running between the tackles. I mean, everything. The guy can do it all. And I just think without him, as well as the Melvin Gordon situation, I think the Chargers, they're not nearly going to be as good as if they would be with Melvin.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I understand what you're saying too. Like, and Tom said this before too, to give credit to him, and I think you've even said this too. Take Ezekiel Elliott away from the Cowboys, and what are they?
Right.
What would you go to see that game? And that's the truth. I mean, you take him away from the game, like, yeah, Dak Prescott, yeah, Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence,
right.
Jalen Smith, and all those guys. But he's the biggest star of all the guys who wear the stars on their helmet. I mean, and that's a given. But it's still just one of those things where it's like, I feel like you could have probably waited on him, because I just feel like this team still can make that push. I understand the Eagles are still the favorite to win the division, but this is one of those things where I feel like after all this is built up now you've paid him all this money. Right. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, now you better win the division, because you've got a healthy offensive line, a healthy, somewhat in shape Ezekiel Elliott. You've got your healthy quarterback, a healthy wide receiver. I don't know where everybody's mental space is at after all this payment stuff, but it seems like everybody's like on track to just be like, okay, let's just play the game.
Yeah.
Defense looks solid. So the thing that I'm concerned now is that the pressure is on this team to say, now you have to win the division, because if you've just paid Ezekiel Elliott all this money and you don't win the division again, or you don't at least crack the playoffs, this is not going to look good. So if they go 7-9, 8-8, people are going to be upset. And I'm sure the Jerry Jones is not going to be too happy about this. So,
and now I'm not going to say that this having Zeke there makes or breaks their season.
Right.
I'm not going to say that, but I mean, what the guy does for you, he's your best chance at getting to those Super Bowl aspirations, at getting to those division championship aspirations. I mean, they were a Jared Goff run on 3rd and 8 away from getting a chance to have Dak Prescott come down the field and take this team to the NFC Championship. Yeah. I mean, they were close. I mean, they're not far away from being, that defense isn't as good as I think everybody thinks they are. But I mean, if you don't have Ezekiel Elliott, the defense isn't going to matter.
Right.
That's what it boils down to for me.
Yeah. Well, and the other, I've been listening to some of the hosts obviously throughout the day, because this was the big breaking news.
Right.
And from what everybody was saying is that, when you match up how this thing's going to work out, it really kind of pays off. Because I didn't really look at it, but they do have a good point. When you run Ezekiel Elliott, you're leaving the offense on the field more time, which can wear them out, certainly the line, but you're letting the defense stay off the field, which keeps them fresher.
Yep.
And this is a defense I feel like can be in the top 10. Last year they ranked 7th, and they've been building over time, getting better and better. I mean, they certainly have, I think, 2 of the best young linebackers. I mean, they really have one of the best rosters under 25 when you look at them.
Yeah, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch. I mean,
they look incredible,
Lawrence,
and they're starting to pay those guys, so they're going to be around for a long time. So I understand where his effect is on this team. And look, for what his career has been, I mean, he's run the ball over 850 times, over 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. I mean, and that's in 40 games. So, look, he's been a really good player for this team, and obviously the off-the-field issues are also a concern for me as well, too, because, you do it once, it's almost kind of proven like it's going to happen again. I think he can certainly grow up, but this is one of those things where, okay, you've gotten paid now, start to act like an adult. He's the same age. He's 1 year younger than me, which I hate saying. But
and that's one of the things that I brought up is with his dad having the concerns about him coming out of the draft, thinking, you invested your future into this guy.
Yeah.
With that pick, he's not betting against his own son, but in a sense he is. And, he's proved his father wrong. In a sense, yeah, exactly. And but I think overall, getting this payday, and I watched his father after the fact, and he was all teary-eyed about it and everything. Yeah. I mean, granted, he should be. But, I think Zeke has matured in his ways. I thought that whole incident with whatever that security guard situation was, I thought that was something that was just TMZ blowing up like they always do.
Yeah.
But, I think he's been pretty clean. I mean, he's not like, handing this this holdout situation like Melvin Gordon is. I mean, Melvin Gordon's not nearly as bad as what Le'Veon Bell was, going to the friggin' Miami and drinking pina coladas on a jet ski.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you just didn't know where the guy was at. And Melvin Gordon, he's saying he doesn't care about the media attention, but he's out here tweeting and stuff like that. And whereas Zeke was just kind of laying low and chilling, waiting to get his. I mean, I think that shows maturity for me. And but I mean, at the end of the day, I thought Jerry Jones was going to pay him anyway, so I wasn't really. It scared me enough to not take him in fantasy, but I mean,
it scared a lot of people. Trust me, there's a lot of people.
Right, the one league I took him with the 4th overall pick. I traded him less than 25 hours later. So I mean, I got a good haul for it. So
there you go.
It all worked out. But I mean, I'm happy he's back. He's good for the NFL.
Yeah, no, I mean, to have your best stars and your best players playing, it certainly helps. And you do bring up a good point. I mean, he was in Cabo, and we didn't hear one story. I mean, for all we know, who knows? Maybe they hit it, but we didn't hear one story about him like doing something terrible in Cabo or anything like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he has learned his ways. Maybe he has gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean. The possibilities are endless with this guy. I mean, he's a jack of all trades when it comes to it. He's a really good running back. I mean, but then you bring up like Melvin Gordon. I mean, this certainly sets a premise where he's going to go. I mean, he's got multiple options, of course. But I mean, with this whole thing with Ezekiel Elliott now, this kind of sets a new path now for running backs on how they want to get paid and certainly what direction they're going to go in. So if you have a good enough season now, like what's going to happen now with Nick Chubb? What's Saquon Barkley going to want and Christian McCaffrey? Those guys, for what they do, they add more, I think, offensively than what Ezekiel Elliott does. So what are those guys going to want over Elliott now? Like if they're able to do more than he is, I mean, the money is just going to be flowing in like crazy all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, and that was another thing that I had talked about on the NFL Unwrapped podcast last night. We're talking about the fact of inflation, and I brought up the point of, they're comparing like with Jared Goff's deal or whatever.
Right.
He's the highest paid. Does he deserve to be the highest paid? Well, no, but inflation tells you that when, you're not going to pay Tom Brady the most money. He's 40-plus years old. You're not going to pay him the most in the league than a guy who's in his prime and in his early to late 20s. You know, like it's just going to keep going up and up and up, and then people are going to blow a gasket when Mitch Trubisky gets a deal or Dak Prescott gets a deal. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the market is setting for them. So they're going to get that money regardless if you like it or not.
Yeah, no, and the whole Dak thing, I mean, certainly a lot of people are kind of wondering, and I already saw there was a bunch of people tweeting at him being like, are you upset? Are you mad about this? And he didn't respond to anything, and obviously he's not going to respond. He's not that kind of guy.
Right.
But you certainly have to think, well, Jared Goff got the 6-year, like $134 million extension, I believe it was, and obviously with what Carson Wentz was able to get out of his new deal, you do kind of have to wonder, well, he was in that draft class too, but he was just, 3 rounds later.
Right.
What's he going to now want after all of this has gone down? And now your running back has just gotten paid a ton. So this kind of shrinks the window a little bit for the Cowboys, not completely, but now you're going to have to really make some decisions.
Right.
Do you want to sign Dak?
Yeah.
Do you want to sign Byron Jones? Do you want to sign,
Amari
you got to think about Leighton Vander Esch, Amari Cooper. You've got to, and the offensive line too.
Yeah.
You got to think about Zach Martin, Travis Frederick. These guys, you've got some guys locked down to some decent deals, but they may come up for renegotiation and say, hey, I want more. You're paying the running back more, and you want somebody to block for him. Well, you don't pay me. Guess what? I might miss a few. Who knows? And then your running back gets an ACL. You never know. So, but it's gonna be interesting what happens now with the Dallas Cowboys moving forward. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Real quick before we get out of this one, what do you say? Where do you see them finishing? Do you think they even win the division? Do you think they make the playoffs? What are you feeling?
Man, that's. Well, the addition to Amari Cooper last year was huge. That really changed the dynamic of the team. I mean, the Eagles were struggling, granted, but I mean, I don't know. I think they're. I don't know if I want to say that because I think the Eagles' defense is going to bounce back this year. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know.
I know it's tough. NFC East always.
I'd say I'm not going to pick a division winner. Actually, I'm gonna ride with the Cowboys. I'll say the Cowboys finish 10-6, the Eagles 9-7.
Okay,
and
interesting.
Potential wild card spot for one of the two.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to go down to one of the ends. Right at the end. But I see this as a fairly easy division. Other than those two teams. Washington's kind of a joke, and the Giants. The Giants, if they started Daniel Jones straight out the gates, I was talking bad about him when they drafted him, but
Yeah.
I mean, kid can play. Kid
Oh,
can
yeah.
play.
Definitely. All right, so you guys can let us know what you think about the Cowboys there. Let us know in the comment section down below. In the meantime, away from Dallas, we move now to the good city of Houston, where the Texans, man, they made some bold moves, ladies and gentlemen. They're primed and ready. They're saying we're going for it. They made the trade. Yeah, exactly. They made the trade with Miami to get Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills, wide receiver and offensive tackle.
But pause. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's a win now move. It's a win now move. But when you take into fact what the Browns paid for Odell Beckham and what the Bears traded, what I mean paid, I meant traded.
Yeah.
So what the Browns traded for Odell Beckham and what the Bears traded for Khalil Mack, the Laramie Tunsil deal was more.
Right.
Like that right there is, speechless in the sense that I don't know if I should cry for them or laugh. Like that is a joke.
Yeah, it's on both sides of this. I mean, it was both a great move for the Texans, certainly. I mean, this has been one of the biggest questions of the year, outside of course, Lamar Miller's ACL injury. I mean, that's the other big question. But the biggest one has always been the offensive line.
Right.
They've lost a lot. I mean, they haven't had a good offensive line, it feels, since Eric Winston and Dwayne Brown and Wade Smith. And that was 2011, 2012 when those guys were still with them. And they slowly started to creep out of Houston because they're like, hey, nothing's happening here, so we want out. We want better deals. And basically what went down is that Houston said, look, we've got to get better on the offensive line. Miami had an offer out there sitting, and Texans jumped on it, and all it cost them was a first rounder and a few other small little things in the mix.
The problem here is that they got a general consensus coming around with their GM decisions. They don't have a general manager, really. I mean, it's a group of people deciding these things, and that doesn't work well for anybody. They need to get a legit general manager in there to run the show for them, because right now, they're a good team.
Yeah.
And you could say that might be a good deal because you got Kenny Stills for the injury assurance if Will Fuller goes down, or Kiki Kuti. And I like Kenny Stills. I mean, he had one of his best years in New Orleans with a good quarterback.
Yep.
One of the best quarterbacks of all time, Drew Brees. He had 940 yards and 6 touchdowns or something.
He looked like a stud wide receiver.
60 plus receptions. So, I mean, the guy can still play. I like that part of the deal. In the Laramie Tunsil, yes, it's a win now move. Man, I do not understand the Clowney deal. They only got a third rounder for him.
Here's the thing. I don't like the fact that they only got so little for him.
It just seems like they had something on the table, and before evaluating all their options, they just said, oh, that's an offer. We'll take it.
Well, so I have a personal beef when it comes to Clowney, obviously. I mean, I'm sure everybody out here knows. And, because the thing is when they drafted him, I'm sorry, but, the freshman and sophomore year in college, they were fantastic. The big hit on the Michigan kid, that's your only highlight standing. And then
flying through that hole and just blowing him up.
And then you balloon up to almost 300 pounds in your junior year. You're taking plays off. You say you're injured and you sit out 2 games and convince Steve Spurrier you're not playing. And then you're still the number 1 pick. And while these last 3 years, he's been good. 9.5 sacks 2 years ago, and then 9 sacks this last year. But it's even with the 3 straight Pro Bowls, I'm sorry, this guy is just not – I'm not buying it because he still takes off plays. He only benefits really when J.J. Watt's on the field and, McKinney and Marcellus are out there because the Texans do have a good defense. They have a good defense even without Clowney.
Yep.
And even when J.J. Watt's been out. But it's just one of those things where I don't see where the value would have been for a first-round pick. So I understand why Seattle only gave him a third, and I think the Texans said – we get it. Yeah. Because I think he'll go to Seattle, and not to bash Jake's team. I know.
Maybe that was the best offer they got. I mean,
it's possible.
I don't really know on that side of things, but I just thought that was a bit of a,
I just find it funny that his agent, from what I had seen, his agent was asking for J.J. Watt money. That was, and I was,
that's
no, I'm you're nowhere near. You're not even posting double-digit sacks.
Right.
You're nowhere close. J.J. Watt was hurt last season, playing hurt, and then this season he came back with 17 sacks, and you only had 9, and you want his money?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. You're not even you're not even worth what David Irving would.
Is that going to be Bradley Chubb when he gets mad about Von Miller's deal? I mean,
it's possible,
right.
man. I mean, shoot, Von Miller might be shooting for something like what Khalil Mack got, but
right.
Like this is what I mean with this guy is like I just don't feel he thinks his value is here, or whether his agent does, whether his value is really around here. He's just an average pass rusher. I'm sorry. Texans, you just drafted another Mario Williams. Let's be honest. You saw the big physical guy in college, and you just took the next great thing like a Mario Williams. That's all. He is Mario Williams 2.0. That's it. That's all it is. But outside of the Texans, obviously, real quick with Miami Dolphins. So
dumpster fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So what? I mean, obviously, I think we can say now they're tanking.
Yeah.
But what do you feel like the tank is going for? Are they really tanking for Tua, or?
I don't know, man. Well, I think what they're gonna do is just draft a quarterback every year until one sticks. I mean, seriously, what are you really gonna do? What are you really gonna do? I mean, whether that's Tua, Trevor Lawrence, or Justin Herbert, Yeah.
And you gave your thoughts on Josh Rosen. You don't think he's gonna make it there in Miami?
No,
so.
I don't even necessarily think it's his skill level. I mean, Brian Flores has came out and said that he's not clicking with the offense. He's not getting the offense and everything like that. But I've come back to this fact that ever since draft day, I brought this up. The guy has an attitude.
Yeah.
And that's not good. I mean, when you have an attitude and you're not that great,
it can be, but
it can
seems
be
like
good.
It's going the opposite way.
Like Aaron Rodgers has arrogance. You can tell he has arrogance, but he's a Hall of Famer. There's a difference. You can't be arrogant and not be able to back it up. You know, and I don't know. I just think his attitude is going to take him nowhere, and he's going to be a backup or just be out of the league.
Yeah. Well, right now he's not even the starter. Ryan Fitzpatrick was named starter for Week 1, so we'll see how this one pans out. I mean, it could just be 3 weeks of 300-plus yards, 4 touchdowns, and then we're down and out.
Yep,
so
Kenyon Drake's going to be dead by Week 3. I mean,
and he's on my fantasy team.
Right, Kalen Balazs is going to get destroyed. I mean, who do you got up next? I don't even know, but you're going to be throwing to Albert Wilson, Preston Parker.
They're working with
Devontae Parker, who is supposed to be something. No, I said Preston Parker. I meant Preston Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, there
you go.
But no, Devontae Parker was supposed to be this big thing, and has he done anything?
He was a big thing with Teddy Bridgewater in college.
True.
That was the last time he was a big thing. Exactly.
Louisville can't produce products here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Lamar Jackson. I guess we'll put that one on an asterisk.
It's a question. It's a TBD. Let's say that.
To be decided. Yep.
Yeah. But the Texans Miami deal and the trade with Seattle. I mean, look, I think Houston has improved. I think they got rid of some dead weight, and I think I'm not going to say they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're going in the next few years. You're going to see this team make the push.
The Jaguars bringing in Nick Foles. We'll see what happens there. I mean, that defense should have a bounce back year. They were pretty lackluster last year. And then, the Colts, obviously, the Andrew Luck situation. But Jacoby Brissett, I think he's going to be able to surprise some people. I think he's going to be able to handle this offense well. He's taken 90+% of the first team reps before Andrew Luck finally came out and retired. Mm-hmm. But when he had the reins of that offense, when Andrew Luck was just hurt a few years ago, he only got 20% of the first team reps. So there's a big difference there. I mean, he could be pretty good. So I mean, I see this division coming down between the Colts and the Texans still.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the Texans' chances just because they're more well-rounded. And although it's not a flashy addition, I thought they would have went after Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
But they bring in Carlos Hyde. He could be a bell cow back, 1, 2, 3 downs. And then you got Duke Johnson, who's basically just going to be the same role as he was in Cleveland, just a pass-catching threat out of the backfield. And, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I like the addition of Carlos Hyde because I think that helps Duke Johnson.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an interesting one here in the AFC South, AFC South, certainly. So you guys can let us know, obviously, in the comments down below, what do you think about the Texans trade? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? I mean, who do you think got the better deal out of this? Although I feel like it's pretty obvious who definitely got the better deal out of this. But comment down below. Let us know what you think about these trades, guys. We'd really like to hear about that. All right, so moving in, we're going to do this one real on a fire fast one. You ready for this? So not too long ago, a couple of years ago, Gil Brandt, who's a longtime NFL analyst, he did a thing about ranking some of the NFL's toughest divisions. And so I saw the article, and this was it's about recent seasons, really, and that's all they were encompassing. So I thought if we would do like a ranking of all time by conference of the divisions in the NFC and the AFC. So you ready for this one? So basically, we just kind of say who we think is at the top and the NFC at the bottom, AFC from the top to the bottom, all right?
Okay.
So starting from the top with the NFC, what do you feel?
North.
NFC North, really, on the top.
NFC North is there's obviously the Packers have been notorious for being the best in that division, but I mean the Vikings came, out of nowhere. I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but they were kind of in the Lions territory, and then they just pounced up to winning the division.
Right.
And
keep in mind this is all time too. So
all time. Okay.
All time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean they had Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper, and stuff like that. And that's always been a blue blood division. So I like the NFC North, and the Bears are, they were always good. I like the North.
Yeah, okay.
As the best.
Yeah, this was a tough toss-up for me because it's a mix. The NFC has 3 really good divisions that I feel like all kind of compete for the top spot, but unfortunately, I got to go with my gun on this. I took the NFC East. And
well, hold up, pause.
Yeah.
So the NFC North, I mean, they have the Packers,
right?
Who has the most Super Bowls in history?
Well,
no, not
they
Super
have
Bowls,
2 Super Bowls. They have the most NFL championships.
That's what I meant. So I think that comes into a factor.
No, it definitely does. But and even with that, certainly taking in the NFL championships, but for some reason we seem to count Super Bowls as more than NFL championships. Not trying to say they're not worth anything. Okay, don't destroy us, Packers fans. But I'm just saying, when I look at the NFC East, man, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, the Redskins, every year we've been at least in the Super Bowl era when we've been looking at it. Somehow, some way, one of those teams is a deciding factor on who's going to the Super Bowl, or they're the team going to the Super Bowl. Because you have the Cowboys with 5, you have the Redskins with 3, you have the Giants with 4, and now you have the Eagles with 1, and they're the only division in the entire NFL that every single team in the division has a Super Bowl, and or an NFL championship, because the Eagles have one too, and from 1960 before the Super Bowl. So it's just crazy to think about that, because it's just they're
tough.
always in the playoffs. They're always competing in some way, shape, or form. Every year we see somebody from that division being in there, but it's they're always pushing themselves into that upper echelon of but we're going to be in the NFC North or NFC Championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what makes it tough. Don't get me wrong, because the NFC North is second on my list, and I mean, look, it's. The reason why it's over the West is because it's tough to play in the cold, man.
Yeah.
Come December, November, January, February, play in Chicago, play in Lambeau Field, forget it.
Right.
No, there's no way anybody can compete with us, I think, on that level, except for the teams that obviously play in the cold a lot.
Talking all time, though. I mean, you got Joe Montana, and then
So you're saying
Rams
the NFC West is your second?
They're pretty good, dude.
That's what Jake was trying to tell me.
Yeah,
although he was saying number 1 overall. So
the Seahawks kind of came out of nowhere with the Legion and Boom, so I mean they got some relevancy, and then the Rams, with Kurt Warner, and then now what they're doing with this
Greatest
team,
show on turf.
They're very good, and then you got Joe Montana, Jerry Rice.
That's a hard one to beat.
Wow, and then
you get Steve Young too, in that
Steve Young. Yeah, man, they know
it's tough. I know this is why I wanted to
toughest divisions though. I mean, most successful division, maybe that would be the NFC West, but toughest.
We're talking toughest here.
But when I think of blue buds in the NFL, I think the NFC North.
Yeah. That's fair. But would your number 2 then be the NFC West? Because I said NFC North for my number 2. What's your number 2?
Yeah, I go to the West.
West? Okay. I can dig that. I can definitely dig that.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know though, because when they're at their supreme and the team that's doing it all, I mean, there's really no competition for that top spot.
Yeah.
Whereas in the North, there's always competition for the top spot.
Right. And then that's the tough thing.
Same
about
thing with
this.
the East. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
definitely
always
not the NFC South, because what have the Buccaneers done? What have the what have the Panthers done?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the thing. So for me, it's the NFC West is just creeping behind the NFC North at number 2. So I've got them at number 3.
Yeah.
And then my number 4 is obviously NFC South. Not to say the NFC South does not. There's competition there,
Man.
but it feels. I'm just gonna say this right now. It feels like they're the Big 12 of the NFL, right? Because there's a lot
They're
of
good,
offense,
but not good enough.
Right, there's a lot of offense, but there's also like no defense sometimes. Like I get it, like sometimes they have some good defensive players there, but like Atlanta's defense is like, you know, on the so-so level. Panthers are on the so-so level, you know, even with their newest additions and stuff. And Saints, I think, have maybe the better defense, but even they're like on the so-so. It's tough to like sell me on the NFC South being the toughest division. Although I know there's probably a lot of New Orleans fans that are like screaming right now.
I don't know. No, I said what I said. I mean, I don't, you know, NFC South are definitely the bottom.
Yeah.
Then I go either a toss up between the East and the West.
And you would give it to the West?
And then I give it to the North.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that's our NFC picks. Now, the AFC. What are you choosing for your number one? Who are you feeling? Because I know mine, so I want to hear yours first.
AFC. Well, I mean, there doesn't seem like there's ever really any competition.
But it's still tough. I mean, we're talking
AFC,
toughest all time
AFC,
in the AFC. I could say mine if you want some time to think on it.
I guess the East.
Okay.
I guess because, I mean, you got Dan Marino and then Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Namath.
Yeah.
The Bills had Jim Kelly. So, I guess I'll go with the AFC East.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I'm going to say AFC West, actually. I'm going the opposite side here. And it's just because when I look back on the history, like, Chiefs and Raiders have always been a great rivalry. Like, Denver, they've been a mixed bag, but obviously once John Elway got into the picture, they definitely picked it up, and they've got a couple Super Bowls. Raiders got 3 even when they moved to L.A. I mean, they've always been – obviously they had that dip period, and they had the Jamarcus Russell moment. But they for a long time of their history, they've always been super competitive. Chiefs have always been competitive except for their down years, but now they look like they're going to be on top of the NFL for a long time.
Yeah.
And, you know –
that was my second. That was definitely my second.
And the Chargers have always been like that team that's like – they're always like just good enough, you know. Like they're always around.
They're always relevant.
Yeah,
you know.
So you say so you're saying AFC East for your number one. So what's your number two?
The West.
You say West.
The West. Okay. The West. Well, and then the next one I'm thinking third. Between the South and the what was the other one? North?
Yeah.
Guess I'll give the nod to the North.
Okay.
And then we'll go with the easiest being the South.
See, I completely blanked now, so I'll have to switch my answer. I forgot about the AFC North, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah,
because I got them as my toughest division, really, when I think about it, because Steelers, Ravens, I mean, even though the Browns and the Bengals, like, their history, you're talking about legends of the game coming from there.
You know, what the Bears,
Super Bowls,
what the Bears, the Lions, Vikings, and Packers are to the NFC North.
Right.
The AFC North is kind of the same.
Yeah,
they're the blue bloods of the NFL too. I mean, they're both North teams or whatever, but
and then playing those stadiums when it's December, January,
it's hard to win
February.
there. You know,
it's windy, it's cold. I mean, shoot, Pittsburgh's like right near the water's not too far off, just like Soldier Field.
Yep.
Get that breeze coming in.
Yep.
You're gonna be freezing your butt off. Like and
when you think about the Ravens with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and
you know, in a short amount of history, they've built themselves into a tough division.
Jamal Lewis and
it's I don't know why I completely blanked on them. Yeah. So I will say AFC North gets the nod for me at number one. West will be number two for me, and then I gotta say AFC East is number three, just because look.
Yeah, you know, I wanna redo my answer.
Go ahead.
I'll go with
it's
the AFC
fine,
North.
Yeah.
AFC North. Mm-hmm. Then the West.
Yeah.
Then the East. Because when I think about it, I mean, Tom Brady's had this insane run, and these other guys, before Brady's time.
Right.
I mean,
that's the thing is when you look.
They're different generations.
Yeah. When you look at the AFC East, at some point, somebody steps up from that division the Jets are good. Oh, now the Dolphins are good. Oh, now the Patriots are just running the table against everybody. And the Bills have, this little moment in the 90s and then in the 70s with O.J. Simpson where it's They're kind of good. They're good enough.
And I don't mean to go off on a different topic.
Yeah.
But I just totally blanked.
That's
totally
fine.
blanked. Totally
It's
blanked.
all right.
It'll come back.
But no,
Continue.
like that. I'm in the same thing. Like there's just too much unevenness there. Like don't get me wrong, still great, all-time great players there. Super Bowls.
I found it.
Around.
I found it.
Okay.
I found what I was going to talk about.
But
no.
yeah.
So when I talk about the AFC East and what Brady has accomplished, and I already had this conversation with you last week, I believe, between Sam Darnold and Josh Allen, who's going to take. I kind of see that situation turning into one of those just reigning supreme for the rest of the time. The AFC East. Not the rest of the time, but you know what I'm saying, like for the next 10 years or whatever.
For their career.
You know, like I see one of them taking the reins. And right now I give the edge to Sam Darnold just because he has more pieces around him. But I said last week I like Josh Allen in the long term just because I like his playmaking ability a lot better than, Sam Darnold. So, but when I look at that, that's what I think what the AFC East is really going to be. I mean, the Dolphins are a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to get anywhere anytime soon. And then what's up between those two. But when Belichick and Brady retire, is Josh McDaniels really gonna be able to step in? I think the reason he didn't take that Colts job is because he got scared and thought he wasn't legit.
That's a good point. I never even thought of that, but that could be another reason why he's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to stay.
I don't want to get
home.
exposed. You know.
Yeah. And then I think we're pretty much in agreement on AFC South is at the bottom. I mean, Colts are the only ones with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning. Jacksonville's had its little moments with Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardle, and obviously Brunell was really good there for a time as a quarterback.
Right.
And Texans, I mean, Andre Johnson, there's not a lot really you can work with there. I mean, I think
David Carr.
I think right now, though, you're seeing the AFC South building their history. Obviously, Andrew Luck retiring now, that kind of takes a little bit out of it.
Right.
But they're building their history right now to where we can say maybe like 10, 15 years down the line.
Oh, yeah, Deshaun Watson, that guy was a pretty good player.
Yeah, they could be one of the toughest divisions. But right now, it kind of feels like it's going to be a cakewalk for the Texans.
Yeah.
If not, at least it's gonna the Jaguars might give them a little bit of a trip up. I don't know. I just sorry AFC South fans. You guys are just pick it up a little bit. That's all I'm asking. Like show me the Colts can do it without Andrew Luck, and maybe we'll talk about redoing this.
Hey, I'm believing in Jacoby Brissett.
I got his faith, and so do the Colts. They gave him the
not
extension.
enough to take him or even pick him up as my fantasy quarterback, but I'm believing in him.
You won't even go for that.
I will take T.Y. Hilton for a bag of cookies.
At least takes a quarterback, right?
Right.
A Colts player, I should say.
No.
Okay.
I'm staying
All
away.
right. So
Wait, maybe Paris Campbell. Apparently, he's looked really good in camp. So
that's what I've been hearing.
I'm excited to see what he can do for them.
Yeah. So take it from Tyler. Don't draft any Colts player. That's a shot at Indianapolis now.
No. I don't know. I don't want to say anything that might turn some heads the wrong way.
Right,
I know I got some Colts fans out there listening.
I won't put words in your mouth then. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can let us know in the comment section down below what do you guys think about all this good stuff. Tyler, this has been fun, man. I enjoyed this a lot. I'm glad we were able to do this. Glad you were able to be on, man.
Yeah.
See, you've grown a few more inches on the beard there while we've been up here.
No shave September.
I wish, man, I had to shave for work. But, dude, where can they find you, man?
They can find me on Twitter at Tyler Dillon. That's at TYLERRDYLANN. I am a partner of the Unwrapped Sports Network. So shout out to them. Shout out to Sportscaster. Shout out to everybody at Unwrapped Sports. They're a great team and everything. And then I also am a co-host on a radio show, Putting Up Points.
Yep.
That's live from 10 or 12 to 2.
12 to 2,
on
yeah.
your slot.
It's your time, you know that, right?
I don't even know. But yeah, so tune in on Saturdays, and we're going to be talking a lot of fantasy football and matchups this week. But like I said, it's been a great time being here today, and I look forward to doing it again.
Real quick before we get out of here, Bears Packers. I know we didn't get a chance to really dive into it, but just give me a play out real fast and give me the score.
Looking over the situation here, I don't see how the Packers are going to come in here and beat us Chicago Bears.
Work on your accent.
Yeah, I don't really got it down. But I'm going Bears 24-17.
Okay.
I don't even remember. I think I said 24-20 last night. So we'll go 24-20. I see it being kind of a closer matchup, but you don't really know. And Rob Domofsky was, he's a Packers beat writer.
Yeah.
He was on ESPN 1000 today talking to Yurko. And he said he doesn't see how this Packers team is going to come in here and beat the Bears. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you heard it from him. He thinks there's still questions between Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Aaron Rodgers is going to do Aaron Rodgers things. So
Absolutely.
I think this defense and this home turf, other than the Eagles last year, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat Chicago.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we do come back here, we'll be talking about the Bears and Packers, giving you an even larger preview. Unfortunately, Ty will not be on for that, but we'll be talking about the review when we do come back on the weekend. So he'll be there. He'll be here for that. So I'm definitely excited to get on that. But when we do come back, Bears, Packers preview and review, of course, of what went down on the preseason, what the 53-man roster looks like. And, of course, we'll be doing a review and preview of college football's Week 1 and Week 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show.
Man, I'm so hungry. I need somewhere to eat fast. I have no idea where to go.
Psst. Hola, me llamo El Taco de Taco. You know where to go for the amazing taste that'll have you craving more? Taco Bell.
All right, can I get 20 tacos, please?
You got it.
Thanks, Taco.
De nada.
Good. That's it. Eat the tacos.
Taco Bell. Live más.
Man, are you still working out? It's like 1,000 degrees.
Intense heat is nothing. To get an intense workout, you gotta be intense.
Our friend here is getting an intense workout with the intense cool of his Hydrotech Cool Breeze shoes. Which brings your feet a cooling sensation that is the best on the market today. Can only be explained with one word.
Intense!
Whether you're working out hard or just taking a stroll, these shoes have got your back, or I should say, your feet.
Aren't these shoes intense?
Maybe a little too intense, but there's no doubt they're cool.
Welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. Yes, I am still Andrew Valentin, sitting here with all you lovely people watching. Who do you think I am?
Tyler.
Really? That's where you went?
Yeah.
You just thought of the only other person that's been in this room?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You're so creative.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, next to me, of course, is the amazing, incomparable, now getting even fuzzier, Mr. Tom McKinney. Tom, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I wish I could figure out Discord, but that's another whole issue there. I've emailed them. I've contacted
Well,
them.
I mean, if people ever, they'll eventually see our little podcast. we did a podcast, our first ever one, finally on camera and stuff. And if you guys want to know, it took us like an hour and a half to get Tom set up with a mic finally. But we did it, and we did our
I had
podcast.
everything set up. It literally was set up. And the funny part is I'm on the phone with Andrew. Andrew's in Miami, Oklahoma. And Jake's talking to me through Discord through Andrew's phone.
It was definitely the most 2019 thing you probably could have ever found.
I am literally trying to figure this out and can't. And I'm just like, why?
Well, Tom, I got some stuff that I think you can figure out.
I don't know,
So
hopefully.
well, I hope so too. But you ready to get into this, man?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, well, we're kicking off the second half, ladies and gentlemen, and we're talking about Bears-Packers, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The Bears and the Packers kick off the NFL season this Thursday, tomorrow.
Woo!
And it's about time. I've been waiting for this day. This is
You
one of
realize,
those days that
you
I
realize
look for so long.
my purposes,
Yes.
I have gone 2 days without football.
I know. How
Because Notre Dame played Monday,
Yes,
which
I know.
obviously irritates me because this is a year of 2 buys.
Will you just breathe, mister? You have no eyes.
Can we just talk about Paul Feinbaum?
No, we're not talking about Paul Feinbaum. I'm not getting it. We're not even there yet. We're talking about the NFL here.
I don't care. That man irritates me.
That's fine. But yeah, so the Bears and Packers, obviously, this is one of the biggest meetups. It's great to see them being the first game of the season, kind of being promoted this way to kick off the NFL season. And it's in Chicago, too, so this is going to be a great matchup. Now, if you guys can kind of see the stats here a little bit, they've met over 190 times, 198 meetings in total. The Packers currently lead 97-95 with 6 ties. Yes, you have a question?
So, no, more of just a statement.
Oh, okay.
So Art Caron, for everybody out there who knows him.
Well, no, it was Jamie.
Oh,
Jamie
Jamie?
that sent the picture, yes.
Was it Jamie?
Yes, it was Jamie that sent us the
So
picture.
for you guys out there who don't know Jamie, Jamie's awesome. We love him.
Jamie Robinos.
So he sent us a thing that NFL Network did. Their record, the wins was close. They had 96 wins.
Yes, they had the Packers winning with 97 wins.
No, 96
or
wins.
96 wins.
Here,
But then,
I'll pull it up right here.
but then they only gave the Bears, I believe it was 45 wins. They basically they said it was a complete blowout between the two teams.
So this is
Yeah.
from Scott Hansen.
Yes.
It says Bears Packers history. Packers lead all-time series 96, 46, and 6. So they got the 6 right.
Yes, they got
And
the
they were
6 right.
one gave one less win to the Packers.
Right.
But that doesn't add up to 100.
No, that doesn't. That doesn't even come close.
Or not even like that. It doesn't come close to the 198. Meters, my
No,
bad.
it doesn't.
Then they went. Packers are 16-5 versus Bears with Aaron Rodgers as starter. I don't think that's right either. I can't find that stat.
Yeah, that was. I tried to find that one, but unfortunately,
Those are stupid stats that only like.
I do know he has a winning record against the Bears.
Yeah,
and
but
it's pretty
like-
significant compared to what it's been. But
Yeah.
I mean, over the last time they met, though, the Bears were able to win in Chicago, 24-17.
The other two on this one are Aaron Rodgers, 5,156 passing yards, 45 touchdowns versus Bears, most versus any team.
That might actually be true because
That
we do
might
play them
be
twice a
true.
year, and he played against us when we had kind of doggy-do defenses. So
That might be true, but what about the Lions?
I don't know.
Or
what
like
his
the
numbers might
Vikings when
be.
they're bad. Like, I don't know if that's most versus any team.
Look, he's throwing for a lot of yards already as it is.
And it doesn't
but-
Brady have a lot of yards.
Yes, he does.
So,
But
and then the last one obviously makes sense. Except I didn't think it was 2011. Bears are reigning NFC North champions for first time since 2011. I didn't think they won in 2011.
no, we did.
See, and
We had the better record over the Packers.
no, and
that
I
year.
know, but it's just one of those things like you don't.
We
think
didn't
about-
win against the Packers that year. In the
Was that the year
playoffs.
that Cutler got hurt and was sitting on the bike?
That was when they won the Super Bowl.
But was that the year that the Bears almost went, but Cutler got hurt
Yes,
and was on the bike,
then
and
they put
everybody's
McCown
like,
in, yeah,
oh, he's not really hurt.
yeah, he pulled himself out of the game. Be a man.
Hey, I'm gonna hit you.
We're not getting into Jay Cutler. No, but look, the Bears. Last time they matched up, 24-17 victory for Chicago. This one, everything's looking a little bit different, and plus you've got an exchange of two sides with Clinton Dix now being on the Bears, Adrian Amos, one of the top
Good,
safeties,
we didn't want
being
him.
being on the
I don't
Packers.
want him. He's a traitor.
So right off the bat, I mean, Tom, what are some of the things you're looking at in this game? I mean, in terms of the good for both sides. I'm talking about both sides, the Bears and the Packers. Got to give me good on both, okay?
Well, fantasy wise, in one league, I want the Bears D to just go off.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the only good thing in one league that I'll have. In the other league, I need Trubisky to go off and put up some points, especially if I'm facing you this week.
Well, you can forget that then.
Yeah, okay. But I did trade. I did trade in our league Deshaun Watson for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I saw that. You weirdo.
I want my man Baker.
I know you do.
I'm still projected to beat you, by the way.
We'll see about that. But yeah, look, this Bear. In terms of the good things that are going to come from the Bears, I mean, one of the things I think you're going to see is certainly still a top defense. I mean, we're still looking at the defensive line has been healthy all year. Eddie Goldman looks great. Akeem Hicks is in shape, and Khalil Mack, while he hasn't played a single down, just means that he's going to be healthy and raring to go for this game. He says he's been working out, kind of going through like simulations through, I guess he's been using like virtual reality or something like that to kind of go through simulations to prepare himself for situations with the Packers. So looking through the footage and stuff like that. Linebacker-wise, I mean, the Bears look like they're going to be pretty solid. I mean, this defense all the way around looks like it could be good. The only guy I'm questioning right now is I don't know where Clinton Dix is at in terms of his level of play. I feel like he'll be there, but he's just the biggest question mark because Amos being there was obviously a pretty good coverage guy. He also had really good tackling skills. I know Clinton Dix has been a pretty good coverage and tackling guy, but he's new to this team, and I just don't know how he's going to click. That's the biggest thing. And on the Packers side of things, I mean, offensively, they should kill it, but I think there's more question marks on there right now.
Underdogs right now.
Yes, they are.
Which by game time they're projecting to be 6-point underdogs. Which at this point, 3 points is because our kicking game. That's the biggest question we have. By the way, you see the Brett Favre and the Sworskis?
Yes,
video?
I saw that. Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, you and me have a bone to pick. Get rid of that bear. I don't want the doink bear. I'm gonna hit you. But I do like the interception calendar, and I want it. Please make that a thing.
That would be pretty cool.
Like, that'd be the only Packers thing I would ever own.
That'd be pretty cool.
So awesome.
But yeah, look, the Packers defense, I think this is probably one of his better defenses he's played with in the last 5 years, where the Packers look like they've got a younger defense that looks like it's going to attack on every level. I mean, with Zaire Smith and Preston Smith and those guys, I mean, they've made some big upgrades, certainly, to the defense. And even cutting Daniels, I mean, he wasn't really producing, but they're just going to fill in another guy who's probably going to play very well.
Wait, who'd they cut?
So Daniels, their Pro Bowl defensive tackle who sits in there. He's now with the Lions, but it's
the Lions.
It is going to be a challenge, I think, for the Bears because this defense has the ability to kind of step up, I think.
One of my coworkers had a hot take. He thinks that the Lions are going to be the number 2 team in the NFC North.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
He thinks it's going to go the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, Vikings.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think the 2 teams that are kicking the season off are the 2 teams that are going to be 1 and 2 in this division. And I think it's going to be a trade-off in this because right now on offense for both of these teams, there's question marks all the way around for both teams.
But on defense.
I mean, on defense, they're solid, but offense is really where the question is because Packers-wise, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, I just don't know where they're at. Like, I look at the quarterback and head coach combo. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers even he says he likes the system, but then he says he's getting along with Matt LaFleur.
He's scared.
And
he's scared. So is LaFleur.
I just don't know if those two are meshing or not.
They're
and I think
scared, dude.
They might be, but it just feels like they're not. I don't know. I don't know where this offense is at. I feel like Rodgers is probably going to have a good performance. I think he could still have a really good year, but it just feels like
if you're going to hurt him in the second quarter.
It just feels like
second half.
God, you and your fantasy issues.
No, because last year, look at it. We hurt him last year in the first half.
Well, yeah.
And then he came back and won the game. If you're going to hurt the man, make sure it's in the second half so he can't come back and win the game.
Hurt him in the first quarter and make it all year, you know? But
they don't have Kaiser anymore.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember who they have now. But look, this offense, I think they're going to perform well. I just think that a lot of what he's going to do is going to be like the quick hero heroics where he's going to just gun stuff out there. He's going to wheel and deal stuff at will, and he's going to make it up in the dirt kind of things. Meanwhile, on Chicago's side of thing, look, I like Trubisky, but I just don't know how he's going to be panning out when it comes to – you can't hold that up when we're talking offense. God,
he zoomed in on it.
Yeah. When it comes to Mitch Trubisky, I got questions all the way around on how he's going to do in his second year with Matt Nagy.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine because the defense, the scary man is coming. Rodgers is going to die.
Well, we're not talking about defense. We're talking about the offense.
Because we don't need to talk about defense. It's too good.
You mean we don't need to talk about offense?
Defense.
Well, we're talking about offense. So paying the mind over here. I just have questions on whether or not Trubisky is going to be able to perform. Stop. I just question if Mitch Trubisky is going to be able to perform at the top level right off the bat. I don't know if he's going to be making every single throw. I know the practices. I'm not too worried about it, but at the same time,
we're talking practice.
Yeah, but It doesn't look good. That's all
We're
I'm saying.
talking practice.
I just
and
want
he
to.
played one series in the preseason and didn't throw the ball.
I just want to make sure that we're not looking at what could be
you
the
turning
long
into
end
a
of the
Joe?
season.
Are you turning
No,
into a Joe?
I'm
You're
turning-
turning into a Joe and
No,
knock it off.
Tom, I'm turning into somebody who needs to look at both sides of the coin rather than you who just holds up the jersey and just says Bears all the way. I love the Bears too, but I got to look at this. I can't be like, oh, I go one side and that's it. I legit think the Packers are going to win this game, and then I think it's not even going to be close, to be honest. I think it's going to be a 31-20 Packers. That's my honest opinion about this.
You're a traitor. Get out.
That's not being a traitor. That's being
That's a traitor.
honest.
That's a traitor. Get out.
I think that's being
Mr.
honest.
Traitor, get out.
It's not being
Traitor,
a
get
traitor.
out.
That's not how this
You're
works.
off the show.
That's not how any of this works.
It's how it works now.
No, it's not. But I legit think that the Packers are going to win this first meeting between these two teams. As much as I love the Chicago Bears, as much as I support them, I see Green Bay. I see how Aaron Rodgers plays. I think if him and Matt LaFleur can at least get on some sort of communication level that is at least decent, and this defense, I think, can actually have a good pass rush on Mitch Trubisky and stop the run game at the same time, I think there's a good chance that the Packers are coming out of this with a very easy win, at least in this first game.
Just so you
Talk
know.
about the next game they play, we're talking a totally different type
Just
of
so you
team.
know.
Yeah.
Fur was on part of my take, Barstool Sports, by the way. And Big Cat asked him if he was scared of the Bears defense. He says, I'm terrified. I'm afraid for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, anyone should be. But, like, that's still, we're still talking about him having to play some of the better offensive linemen in the NFL, too. So, I mean, look, I know Khalil Mack can do what he wants to do.
Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith. I believe in
Let's
those
go.
guys. But I also know that we've seen what happens when Aaron Rodgers can get on his game. And he did it against this team last year. So what's to stop him from doing it this year?
Did he do it in Chicago the last year?
No, he didn't do it in Chicago last year.
We're
But
doing
you
it. It's game one in Chicago. It's the 100th celebration. You got Ditka coming back, Urlacher. You got the big boys coming back. They're celebrating. They just unveiled the new statues.
They look great.
So this stadium is gonna be bouncing them out. If I had the money, I'd be at the game. But I don't have $4 million to go to a game. And that's not the price of the tickets. That's just the price of everything for that night.
Well, and plus you have other things you have to pay for, I'm sure. Jeez. But look, look, call me a traitor if you want. I'm just being unbiased as I can be. I think Packers are going to win this one easily. Again, the next time they're meeting, I think the Bears can take them over. I know it's going to be in Lambeau, but I feel like the second time they meet is where the Bears are going to get the better of them.
I think Trubisky's going to go throw for 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards in the game. Which I know, people are like 200 yards. That's not that hard, but it is game one. He didn't throw any in the preseason, so 200 yards would be acceptable.
Right.
Three touchdowns, which are going to be good, and for game one at least. The defense is going to have at least 2 turnovers, and one of those turnovers are going to be returned for a touchdown.
Okay.
And Eddie Pinero is going to kick a 58-yard field goal to win the game. Boom.
So what would be your final score?
Oh, I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think it's going to be 36, 33.
You're predicting a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Because it's still warm here.
Yeah, I know.
So I think it's just let me check the temperature for tomorrow.
It's going to be in the 70s.
Yeah, but I'm talking about at night.
Then you're probably talking the 60s.
And it's on the lake.
With the lake,
But
so then you're
let me-
probably talking mid-60s.
Let me look at the weather.
All right. Well, one of the other things, too, that I know people have been talking about, for the Bears at least, is the running game, which is how the running backs are going to play out. And I'll say this, I'll ask you as soon as you find the whole weather thing, Tom, but for me right now off the bat, I think you're going to see Cohen and David Montgomery probably split the carries, with Mike Davis getting the carries on the third down conversion. So in the goal line.
Here's what the weather's looking like tomorrow. So during the day, it's supposed to be 72 degrees. East winds about 7 miles an hour with 10% chance of rain.
Yeah.
Winds are about to be, they say 5 to 10 miles per hour for the winds out of the east. Winds east at night. Showers late. They're saying 40% chance of rain. Partly cloudy in the evening, increasing clouds with periods of shower after midnight. So the game will not be rained on.
Yeah.
Low 64 degrees, winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then chance of rain. So, with that being said, Eddie Pinheiro still kicking a 58-yard field goal. He's going to doink it in. He's going to do what Parkey couldn't do and doink it in.
Okay. So real quick though, for the running backs, how do you think that situation is going to play out?
It's going to run DMC.
Game? Well, how do you think it's going to play out though? What running backs do you feel are going to get the favors? Do you think? I mean, do you think this is going to be like the breakout for David Montgomery, or is this?
No,
I
think they're going to ease him in. I think they're going to ease him in.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Mike Davis to start the game, just because they don't want to go out Tariq right away. I mean, obviously everybody knows what Tariq Cohen is, and then probably the second series you'll see a little bit more Tariq.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the third or second quarter you might see a little bit more David Montgomery. But down the line, I think it's just going to be run DMC in that third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever the situation calls, it's going to be run DMC.
Yeah, look, this first game is certainly going to be a test, and it's going to say a lot for where the Bears are going to be at, especially in week one. If they can come out with a win and a decent performance from the offense and a great performance from the defense, there's a chance that we're in good shape.
Running the table then. Undefeated season.
I'm not going that far, but
we don't play the Patriots this year, right?
That's if the Patriots can make it to a Super Bowl. Well,
all right, come on, let's be honest here. You should pray.
That's if they can.
Honestly,
make it to
people
a Super Bowl.
should pray for the Patriots in the Super Bowl every year. Every time they're in the Super Bowl, it's a great game.
That's if they can't. I don't think so.
What?
That last Super Bowl was garbage.
It was still a good game. It was still a good game.
Nah, it wasn't.
Out of all the Patriots Super Bowls, that wasn't the greatest.
That was the worst.
Yes, it was the worst. But it was
the worst.
still a better Super Bowl than the Seahawks, or not the Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks Super Bowl win or the Broncos beating the Carolina Panthers.
I don't know about that. I enjoyed those, I think, more than I enjoyed this game. Even with all the high offense and all the I find
But that's not the Patriots'
I
fault.
like in the game. You know?
But that's not the Patriots' fault. That's because the Rams just didn't show up. That they looked literally. That was the Broncos versus the Carolina Panthers.
It still counts against them for to be a bad Super Bowl.
But think about it.
Enjoy it.
Or, minus this past Super Bowl, every other Super Bowl the Patriots have been in have been low-scoring games and close games.
I mean, except for when they play the Eagles. I mean, that was one of the.
It was a high-scoring game, but it was a close game.
Right, yeah, and that was a great game. That was probably their best Super Bowl, I would say, one of their best Super Bowls. But this last one,
the first two, the field goals.
Yeah, I mean they were fun. Look, man, that one had a lot more excitement, a lot more energy and vigor in it. This past year's one, one was just. No, you leave.
No, you leave.
You leave.
You leave.
I'm not having this argument.
I'm not having this argument either. You leave.
Now he's just copying me. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can let us know what you think about the Bears and Packers. Who do you think is going to win? How do you think this game's going to play out? How do you think the season's going to unfold after this first week? You guys can comment down below. Let us know what you guys think about this. So to finally finish this one off, I know that this one, it happened already, but college football, ladies and gentlemen, has officially started. Week 1 is in the books, and we're going to review that one. There's been a few changes in the top 25.
Is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
Because week 1 starts like the week before really week 1 starts. They always have that one stupid game, and that one stupid game was Miami and Florida.
Right.
And then they play like almost all week. So they play like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They have a game Sunday, and then they have a game Monday of Labor Day weekend. I hate week 1. I love week 1 of college football because it's exciting. College football's back. I'm like, let's go. But I hate week 1 because it's too much animosity. Like, you play Saturdays.
You live in animosity. You are animosity. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's just, I don't like the fact that there's games on every day leading up to Saturday, and then Saturday comes in and it's like, all right, well, I've already watched 30,000 college football games.
Right.
When I want Saturday, college football should be just played on Saturday. It's fine if you want to play like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because it's Labor Day.
Yeah.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. And on top of that, the Labor Day game should be the team that won last year and whoever their opponent is. So that case, it's Clemson. They should have been playing the Monday night game. Prime time, only game of the day.
Yeah.
People are off. They're barbecuing. Then they're going to settle down and watch that game. That should have been the game.
I guess. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, I like when my call.
Or even do it at Sunday.
I like more football, the better for me. I don't feel like it has to all
Cowherd
be.
calling those games.
He's not going to do that.
And
But
Paul Five needs to be fired.
stop.
No.
Yeah, so we're going to go through these. I'm going to go through the list, and then obviously at the end we'll preview some of week 2 and what the matchups are. So the rankings, top 25 AP poll. You've got Clemson at number
Shocker.
1. Alabama at number 2,
Shocker.
Georgia at 3,
Okay.
Oklahoma at 4,
Okay.
Ohio State at 5, LSU at 6, Michigan at 7.
All right.
Notre Dame moved up to 8,
Yeah, it's one.
Texas moved up 1 to 9, Auburn moved up 6 to 10, Florida moved down 3
For everybody,
to
real
11.
quick, for everybody out there wondering why Florida dropped out of the top 10, it's because they almost lost to a unranked Miami team.
Yeah.
That is the only reason why. I unfortunately didn't get to watch that game, nor would I have watched that game because
It was a good game.
I've heard it was a good game.
It was a
but
good game. It was a battle.
For me, it's two teams that I have no interest in. I don't like Miami at all, and I can't stand Florida. I don't like how what they stand for. That's just me. I know other people are like, but I think that for that purposes, that is the only reason why Florida dropped. I think Miami should have not jumped in to the top 25, but I think they should be just on the border because everything I've heard and from some of the highlights I've seen, they do have a good team, but I don't think they're top 25 worthy yet.
No, not yet.
They've
got a decent roster.
They need to go out and beat some people, and I'm not saying they're going to go beat Clemson, but they need to go out and they needed to lose to Florida by like 1.
Yeah, it's got to be closer.
If they run the table and their only loss was to Florida and to Clemson, if they play Clemson this year, I don't know what they do.
I believe so. I have to check the schedule. I've been watching more ACC anyway since the network popped up. So
That just came up on my stuff. So
Did it?
Yeah, like Hulu's got it now, but I don't
Yeah.
know if AT&T now does. But it probably got to update and take a couple minutes. But that's fine. But for the facts of everything, that is the only reason why Florida dropped. I'm okay with them dropping. They almost lost to an unranked Miami team. If they had lost to an unranked they lost to Miami, then I think they're down to almost 25.
I think you're right. I think they're about.
And
at
I think
like
Miami
20,
jumps in.
21. You think they would jump in?
I think they'd jump in.
That's fair.
I think Miami would jump in the 20 to 25 range.
Okay.
I think Florida would be either still right above Miami.
Yeah.
But they'd be like 1 and 2 in that sense. So Miami would be.
You're making
21.
Ryan Fahey smile right now.
LSU should be out of the rankings.
Oh, now he's just breaking my heart. So the rest of these are Texas A&M at 12, Utah at 13, Washington.
Utah's a big shocker.
Utah moved up to 13.
That's a
by
big
1.
shocker.
That is. Washington moved down by 1 to 14.
Did they lose?
They did not lose. They were the only team that lost in the top 25 is Oregon, and they lost to Auburn in that wild game that we'll get here to in a little bit. Penn State stayed at 15. Oregon dropped 5 spots to 16. Stop hitting the table. Wisconsin moved up. Hold on. Yeah, Wisconsin moved up 2 to 17. UCF dropped 1 to 18. Michigan State dropped 1 to 19. Iowa stayed at 20. Syracuse moved up 1 to 21. Washington State moved up 1 to 22. Stanford moved up 2 to 23. Boise State with its amazing win against Florida State, which if you did not see, hats off to you, Hank Bachmeier, I believe is his name.
All right, I have a confession to make.
What?
So I was watching the first half of that game. It went to halftime.
I can't.
And the game was over in my head. I'm like, this is a blowout. Let's find another good game on. And there was really no good games on, so I just turned everything was boring this week. So then all of a sudden I get the update. It's like, oh, Florida State, Boise State's down to the wire. I'm like, I'm not gonna really turn this game back on.
Yeah.
It's 2 unranked opponents. I'm not really.
That game was.
And then all of a sudden I see
insane.
Boise State won. I was like, wait, what?
That game was insane, dude. A true freshman, Hank Bachmeier, threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he had his helmet come off twice after getting smashed, and he still played. It was great. But Boise State at 24, Iowa State dropped down to 25, with Nebraska dropping 1 just out of the rankings now. So
Nebraska dropped out of the rankings?
Well, they've got them listed for some reason
They
with
got
no
votes. They got
rankings.
votes.
Yeah, they got votes.
They're
but
26.
They're sitting just.
They didn't
outside.
lose though, did they?
They did not lose, but they blew out an opponent that was really easy. It was the not Florida Atlantic. Alabama, South Alabama Jaguars, I believe it is.
Yeah, whatever.
So
See, I had that game on too, and I was like, "This game's over." I don't know.
Yeah, it was an easy win for them. But yeah, there's your top 25. But yes, the Boise State game against Florida State. Halfway through, it looked like it was all done, and then Boise State coming back with that true freshman, Hank Bachmeier. I cannot say enough about that kid. Truly, truly high-class player. A lot of love here. Yes.
All right, let's talk about the Notre Dame game real fast. Because obviously I go on Twitter only enough to just read what people say about the teams I root for.
Yeah.
And quote-unquote, Paul Feibaum's an idiot.
Get over it.
No, I'll never get over that.
All right.
That bothers me so much. How do you say a team should
Can you
not...
just move on?
Fine, I'll try.
Why do I even get you started?
But so for everybody out there who thinks that Notre Dame should have blown Louisville out, Louisville's still not a bad team. It is the ACC still. On top of that, they were home. Louisville at home is tough. Now, I know everybody's like, oh, Louisville only won 2 games last year. You do realize they had to transition from Lamar Jackson to Pass. Juwan Pass, I think is his first.
Pass.
Yeah, Juwan Pass.
Who's a bigger quarterback who doesn't throw as well.
So they had to transition. That is a big step. And they still tried to implement Lamar Jackson's offense. Bobby Petrino messed up. They should have retooled the offense for him. With quarterbacks, you have to retool for your quarterback. Because if you don't, they will fail. And that was a perfect example last year. I think Louisville will potentially make a run at the ACC championship game. Because I don't think Clemson's in their side.
I'd have to check on that, but
and if not, they're at least going to come second. If Clemson is on that side, they're going to at least come second beyond Clemson in that they'll be in a bowl game. They potentially could be ranked in the top 25 at the end of the year.
So Louisville is in their conference.
So they'll come in second. I think they'll come in second in that.
Really?
What is it? The Atlantic or the
That'd
Pacific?
be the Atlantic side.
Yeah. So I think they'll come in at least second in the Atlantic. Who else is in that one?
Go ahead. Yeah. So.
Yeah. There's no one else besides Clemson.
That's the tough thing about this is that Clemson should be able to run the Atlantic side of the ACC fairly easily. I mean, it should not be. It should not be a contest really for them. And I understand what you're saying, like with Louisville. Look, I think the kid Juwan Pass, I think he's a really good quarterback, and I think they've got a good roster. But I think that their toughest thing is that they're in this mixed period where all the top recruits they have right now are starting to graduate and obviously go off to the NFL. So now you're going to have to say, okay, now we have to work with – because now they're in that part where it's like, okay, now the recruits want to go to other schools in the ACC, so now you have to work with what you can. So it's not to discredit that Notre Dame obviously was still able to win against them. It's still a good win. It's just one of those things where –
But let's talk about the other thing here.
Yeah.
Everybody freaking out about the defense in the first half. It literally was the first half of a new season. They don't play preseason in college. Do you guys realize that? When they scrimmage, it's literally against themselves. You can't do a whole lot there. You're not going to go 180,000% against your own teammates because you don't want to risk that injury. Notre Dame already has a running back out for at least a month in Armstrong.
Right.
Obviously, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame fuels running backs. Let's just be honest. We are Wisconsin in running back form. They just don't pan out in the NFL. They just don't pan out in the NFL, right?
Well, so you're still like Wisconsin. Boom! That's a shot at you.
I'll take my running backs in college.
Melvin Gordon, I'm sorry, man, but you keep getting hurt. But
I'll take my running backs in college.
That's fine, yeah.
I mean, none of my running backs go to the Bears, so I'm not upset.
Wisconsin hates us right now.
Fine by me. The Brewers stink.
From Madison to Green Bay, through all
Milwaukee,
yeah.
Except for Chippewa Falls. I am fueling a lot of money into Line and Kugel.
But no, but this is what I was talking about, though, because I did watch some of their game with the defense, especially in the first half.
All right, and on top of that, the 3 fumbles. That literally
that was
there was 4
rough.
fumbles. There was 4 fumbles in a span. So they went. So Notre Dame fumbled the ball. No, Louisville fumbled the ball. Notre Dame fumbled the ball. Louisville fumbled the ball. Notre Dame scores. Ends the first half. Louisville gets the ball. Louisville fumbles the ball.
Yeah, it was a little rough for first game. But like what you were saying with the defense in the first half.
It literally was the first game of playing against true opponents other than your teammates.
Right.
And you were going now at game speed instead of practice game speed.
But this is where, like, you know, I mean, you still have, I believe it's Thomas, who's your top defensive tackle, who a lot of people are saying is probably going to be like their top draft prospect.
Yeah.
But like, I can kind of see where now, like, you've lost Tranquil, you've lost Tillery, like losing those pieces.
Yeah, but we still have
like that
Gilman
first half,
and stuff like that.
No, there's still good players there, but losing those pieces, obviously, it does kind of show now in that first half. Like, okay, they're a little bit exposed, but obviously as the season wraps on, they'll probably find new guys or
like next week when they play. I believe they're playing Nevada.
Yeah,
they'll or 2 weeks. My bad. They don't play this week.
Got to be careful with Nevada though. They won on a field goal, man, and that kid earned a scholarship off of that. So you gotta be careful. He had a nice 52-yarder to win the game.
They're playing in South End. Good luck with that.
You never know, man. You never know.
In early September, where it's starting to change weather-wise, good luck with that. And then they go to Athens in 3 weeks.
That concerns me.
That's the first true test.
Yeah.
And I truly, and this is not me being a homer, I truly believe
He's
Notre
lying.
Dame is going to have a Baker Mayfield moment.
I
think they're going to have a Baker Mayfield moment where Ohio State went into Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which is actually a town in Oklahoma. I didn't know if you know that.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
That. I know.
You can find a job there, and not in the wrong Miami.
Yeah, I know. Let's make fun of me more.
And then they went to Ohio State, and we had the infamous plant the flag, which is funny because then Cleveland drafted him. I just find it funny. I think Notre Dame's going to go into Athens and shock the SEC and be like, we are really a good team. Clemson was just a better team last year. We are a new retooled team ready to come for a championship.
It's
going to be a tough test. Don't get me wrong. I truly believe they can win that game. I think it's going to be the closest game ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Jake Fromm is as good as people are thinking.
But that's the thing is that when I look at the fact that you no longer have those seniors on defense and those impact players on defense. I mean, yes, you still have a few pieces there.
You realize our defensive front line is nationally ranked.
I understand that.
I think
but
they're
you
like
also
two.
Understand that Georgia's offensive line is nationally ranked, and they're in the top 5, and they have one of the best offensive tackles who's going to be matching up with your best defensive end.
That's fine.
And this is where the trouble comes, because even though Jake Fromm, he makes a lot of mistakes, yes, he's still but the big thing with him is the receiver issue. They still have top running backs that I know can run the ball.
That's fine. You can run the ball all you want, but you're going to have to throw the ball eventually. And that's when our DBs are going to make you mess up. And you're going to throw interceptions. And that's where I think Notre Dame's going to pull this victory out.
Yeah, but this is where, even with Ian Book, like I know you like the kid. I understand that you like the kid.
He had a rough first game.
I just feel like
he also broke a cheerleader's nose.
Yes, he did. I mean, it's not even with the first game. Like, I understand he's a decent downfield, kind of trickle the ball down the field type of quarterback. But in those big moments, I mean, obviously that'll be a telling situation. If he can come up with the big moments, because the great players will show up in the great games when it's needed to be great. And if right now, I think he is good. I call him a good quarterback.
I think he's a great quarterback.
I know you would say great, but I
think he's a great quarterback that still has potential to become a elite quarterback.
It could happen. Like, it could happen with anybody, certainly. But right now, for me, he just sits at good because, like, he can make the throws. But a lot of what he did last year, I think, benefited from the fact that he was on. He had big wide receivers. He had a tight end that was 6'5", 2 wide receivers who were 6'4", 6'5". Well, I know, but he had those.
And he has Chase Claypool, who's a big guy,
right?
Still, so he still has his weapons. He just doesn't have all the weapons, and he still has his running back weapons. Like, I forget the guy that replaced Armstrong. Like, yes, it hurts that Jafar Armstrong once again will be out for a month, but we got other running backs. Again, Notre Dame is a plethora of running backs that they just bring in, and they're good.
Yeah.
So we'll be fine. I just think we'll be fine. But let's go to my favorite part.
Oh, LSU? Yeah, they did great. Joe Burrow, hats off to you, man, for breaking the school record for 5 touchdowns in a game. Hey, I'm getting my time in. I let you have your Notre Dame time. I got to get my LSU time in.
Who did LSU play?
It's not important.
It is important. Because let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, they only played a little bit of a tune-up game, okay? That's all it was.
Cupcake game?
Something like that. It was,
because Alabama played a cupcake game.
It was Georgia Southern, so.
Because Alabama played a cupcake game too.
Yeah, no, we played Georgia Southern 55-3. It was a thrashing. I just wanted to say, because Joe Burrow, a lot of people I know have kind of been dissing him a little bit for a quarterback. I think he's a good I'm not saying he's elite. I'm not saying he's great. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's starting to prove his talent. Much like Ian Book, I think he can make the throws. Both of these guys could certainly be great quarterbacks, might even be on the elite level. Who knows? But
before we go into any other teams,
also figure out your running back situation. You can't be running 4 running backs. My God, figure that out. Yeah, but I hate that stuff. I hate when 3 running backs.
the Bears are gonna do it.
Yeah, but the Bears are professionals. Like, I trust them to get it done. I don't trust colleges to do it. I'm sorry. There comes a problem when it comes to from the college levels. Okay.
So let's go to my favorite part of this.
Sure.
And let's talk about the bowl projections.
All right, let's do it. Go for the bowl projections, baby.
So it's my favorite part because we have the funny name again.
Yeah.
Bagnagagaru.
You will never pronounce.
No, I will never pronounce that name right. But it makes for great TV. So it is college football bowl projections after week 1. So the college football championship. So the first semifinal. Which will be played in Glendale, Arizona at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah.
PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. They have, sorry, Jake, I said PlayStation. He might hit me. So that Bagnagagaru has Alabama versus Oklahoma, and Schlabach has Oklahoma versus Georgia.
Yeah.
And then in the other semifinal, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, I guess they have better chicken sandwiches than Popeyes.
Ooh, we're not.
They have a playoff bowl game after that.
Do not even get in that discussion. I do not want to. The number of people I've talked to about that stupid chicken sandwich thing, I'm not getting into that.
Dude, they have a bowl game named after him. Popeyes doesn't.
Move it on. Move it on.
People are selling Popeyes chicken sandwiches for like $500 on Facebook Marketplace.
Do not care. Move on, please.
So both Bagnagagaru and Schlabach have Clemson. The Bagnagagaru has Ohio State versus Clemson.
That wasn't even close.
And Schlabach has Clemson versus Alabama.
Okay.
Here's a good one. It's the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, which honestly I'm going to that bowl game one year. I don't care. I'm going to that bowl game one year because I've heard it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But Bagnagagaru has Northern Illinois and the only Tennessee team that matters right now, Middle Tennessee. By the way, Middle Tennessee fans are ruthless to Tennessee Vols fans.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see the truck that's driving around?
Yes.
Knoxville?
Yes.
With the score?
I can't believe that. That's
it makes my day.
Then again, shame on you, Tennessee. Jeez, how do you let that happen?
So that's that one. We need to go to that game one year. The Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl game, because that's sponsored by an Illinois company.
Yes, I know.
Like, that's just crazy.
Well, look, if they want to hit us up, I mean, by all means.
The Cherry Bundy Boca Raton Bowl, I like that name. Bagnagagaru has Eastern Michigan versus Temple, and Schlabach has the UCF Buffalo Bowl, or I quit. UCF versus Buffalo.
Okay.
Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. Bagnagagaru has Memphis versus Wake Forest. Schlabach has Temple versus UAB.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to name on some of these fun bowls because I like to.
Try and find the ones that you like real quick so we can get to this week 2 preview.
So here's the other one. The Camping World Bowl. Bagnagagaru has Notre Dame versus Baylor.
Okay.
Schlabach has Miami versus Iowa State.
Nice.
In the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Bagnagagaru has Washington versus Boise State. Schlabach has Notre Dame versus Boise State.
Ooh. Okay.
I think that would be a fun one.
That would.
I want to see it in Boise State because I want to see Notre Dame on the blue turf. I think it would be awesome.
That would be very cool.
I saw an LSU one. I'm trying to see. The All-State Sugar Bowl.
Yes, we make the Sugar Bowl.
Bagnagagaru, Georgia versus Texas. Schlabach, Texas versus LSU.
Okay. That's coming up soon, anyways, in week 2.
So that's Schlabach. Has that one.
Yeah.
For Northwestern, they have them in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. It's a mouthful and anything.
Yeah.
Jesus. Bagnagagaru has Northwestern versus Wyoming. Schlabach has Northwestern versus Fresno State. I'm trying to get the Illinois ones as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find this other LSU one that I saw. Here it is. The Capital One Orange Bowl. Banagagaru has Syracuse versus LSU. Schlabach has Syracuse versus Penn State.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I really like it.
I don't like that Banagagaru has Notre Dame in the Camping World Bowl. I know it's week 1. I know it's after week 1. That's fine.
We'll be doing this every week throughout college because it's now become a tradition on this show.
We literally had a request from our board man back there.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. So real quick, we're gonna do some week 2 previews for you guys.
What's the point? Notre Dame ain't playing.
Just relax. So I'll go through some of the big games here, some of the games that might be upsets. I don't know. So you ready for this, Tom?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one I'm gonna hit you with, number 5 Ohio State, or Cincinnati at number 5 Ohio State. Who do you got winning? Ohio State. Okay. Army at number 7 Michigan. Who you got winning that one? I know who you want to win. I'm saying, who do you think's gonna win? Because I know you say Army's dangerous.
Dude, Army is dangerous. I honestly believe
We're ranked
Army.
last year.
I'm honestly, by the way, this past Sunday was the 12-year anniversary of Appalachian State going into a ranked Big House and beating Michigan.
So who are you picking?
I'm going Army. I truly believe Army. I don't.
That's fair.
It's
fair.
not a confident pick.
Yeah.
I do think Michigan will most likely beat Army, but I think Army is a sneaky team. It is a military school where they run that damn triple option.
All right, Rutgers at number 20 Iowa. Who do you got?
Iowa. Is
All
that
right.
even a question?
Yeah, number 21 Syracuse at Maryland. Who you got?
That's a toss-up. I'm just gonna flip a coin. I'm gonna go wherever it decides to land on. I don't care.
Okay.
That's one of those games I don't know. I'm gonna go Syracuse just because they're ranked.
Okay. NIU at number 13 Utah.
Honestly, I think NIU.
Okay.
I don't. It'll be a tough road test for NIU.
Yeah.
But I think it will be a good one. By the way, ESPN still has Nebraska ranked 25th.
Do they?
Yeah, you said they were just outside. They're 25th.
That's what I had on ESPN's AP poll.
I have their schedule right now, and it says number 25 Nebraska at Colorado.
I guess they're still. That's weird then, because they have Iowa State at number 25.
I wonder if they're tied.
Might be.
Because they don't have Iowa State.
That's the way it seems.
They don't have Iowa State. Who's Iowa State playing? Did you already say that one?
Yeah. Well, no, not yet. Yeah. That's how it looked like it played out for that one. So the next one I got here, number 12 Texas A&M at number 1 Clemson. Who you got? I know it's a tough one.
I'm going Clemson just because it's Clemson.
Okay. All right. Trying to find that. All right. Illinois at UConn. Who you got? Trying to show the Illinois school some love.
U of I.
U of I. Okay. All right. That's fair. I'm not even going to ask you about Alabama and Georgia because they play schmuck schools. So sorry, guys. Just saying. UCF at FAU. Who you got?
UCF.
Okay.
Brandon Wimbush is going to lead that team far.
Very confident, I got to say. All right, this is the one I got to ask you about, and I need your honest opinion, and please, please, please get it right. Number 6 LSU at number 9 Texas. Who you got?
It's going to be a gun show.
Really?
But I'm sorry.
Just give me your honest opinion.
I do believe LSU could potentially pull out the win, but they're at Texas, right?
Yes, they will be at Texas.
And
I
it's
know.
also going to be the game of the week.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the game of the week.
Yeah, it is. It's the game of the week.
Texas does well under the lights.
It does.
So I mean, I know you want me to say LSU.
I know. Go with your gut, man. Go with your gut. What do you feel?
I do think Texas could do it.
Go.
It's hard to say Texas. I'm going to say Texas, but I think it's going to come down to a field goal.
Okay,
and
that's
I trust Texas's field goal kicker. He did it last year against Oklahoma.
Hey, Sam Ehlinger, he's a good quarterback. Joe Burrow, I think you're right. It's going to be a shootout. I'm going with LSU. I mean,
let's talk about the big injury this week.
Which one?
Last weekend.
The JT Daniels one?
Yes.
Where he snapped his ACL?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that game on.
That was
because
bad.
The Oregon game ended as I was talking to Andrew and Jake, and I turned that game on because there was no other good game.
Yeah.
And I literally went. All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, yo, USC's quarterback's done. JT Daniels is leaving on a cart."
Yeah.
And I think Jake went good.
No, that was me that said good.
You went good.
Because he just comes off like the perfect kind of like QB. But then when I saw the injury and I heard how bad it was, his ACL has completely snapped. And it's one of those ones where it could be bad enough where they're not sure if he's going to be. Yeah.
His career is
over. It could be
the way
well over.
The way that play looked, his career is done with. He'll never play another snap of football
I mean,
in college or the pros.
I mean, he could, but he's not going to be the same QB.
Flag football.
It's. I'm sorry, man.
Why'd you throw a little
it's
Madden
bad.
chuckle in there?
Sorry for your loss, man.
But yeah, I mean that hurts Notre Dame when they play them in a few weeks. I think they play in mid-November actually.
Yeah.
That'll hurt them there. I don't know. College football is going to be an interesting season this year. It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah.
For any fantasy owners out there, like, watch college football all season long. I know Jake doesn't like college football. Like, it's not that he doesn't like college football. He just doesn't get it.
Yeah. That's fine.
But his sister understands it, and I respect her for that.
So that says a lot about you towards Jake. Jeez.
No, I respect Jake, but he's a terrible commissioner. I want a new one.
God. By the way, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I know we said we would, but shout out to Auburn, man. Fighting through against Oregon, man. That was
Jesus Christ!
That was a great game.
Why?
And by the way, for Bo Nix, for a guy who was 10 years old when they won the national championship in 2011, to come through and win the game off a game-winning touchdown.
In the same stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah. In Auburn. In Auburn.
No, it wasn't in Auburn. It was at AT&T.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's talk about miracles. Talk about destiny.
We were on Discord together, and I was like, "Oh my God, Auburn just won!"
And that's a true freshman doing it too. So shout out to you, Bo Nix, man. He is the toast of Alabama, the hometown kid with the favorite team all time. Now at his school, now doing big things, man. I hope you beat Alabama, man. I'm really pulling the best for you.
I have one game I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina. I really like the mascot.
Oh God.
Versus Kansas.
Versus Kansas?
At Kansas. Kansas actually has a defense.
Kansas is pretty sneaky.
Kansas actually has a defense. It's the only Big 12 team to have a defense.
Kansas is pretty sneaky good right now, so I'll take Kansas. That's the way I'll roll.
I want to ask Western Illinois at Colorado State.
Western Illinois, Colorado State.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to Colorado State, man.
That's a tough team.
They're a big team.
I got one. University of Louisiana Monroe versus Florida State, or at Florida State. Now, I don't know if this game's going to play.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, I was going to say I thought Monroe was the one that has Hugh Freeze. But, no, that's not it. That's the Raging Cajun. I will say I think Florida State pulls out a victory finally on that one.
But I don't know if that game's going to play. Remember Hurricane
That's right, yeah. They might have to
right now, so
they might cancel that game.
Which, again, will piss me off because they did that last year or a couple years ago, and Florida State stayed ranked for most of the season when I forget what hurricane hit. No, it was Miami. It was Miami.
Yeah, it was
they were
Miami.
undefeated, and they had that 1 week off.
Yeah.
And then they played Notre Dame like 2 weeks later, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, Miami's well rested." Yeah, because they didn't play a week, and they weren't making that game up ever.
Yeah.
Because it meant nothing, and then they got beat by Pitt. That's what you get. That
was a long con just to get to that one.
Eastern Illinois at Indiana.
Indiana.
I don't know, dude. That's a tough one.
The thing is, I don't know what's up with Eastern Illinois' roster.
No, neither do I.
That's the thing. I don't know their rosters to heart.
If I didn't have anything Saturday, we should have tried to go to that game.
I gotta work. So.
No, I know, but like it's a 2:30 start. It's in Indiana. It's not that far.
That's true.
And then the last one I want to ask you about is Southern Illinois at UMass.
Why do I get all like this?
Why not? I want to show love to Illinois schools.
That's fine. God, UMass was good last year. I don't know. I gotta go. You know what? I'll take Southern Illinois on it. Because Andy Isabel isn't at UMass anymore. They can't just throw the ball deep to him no more. So I'll give it to Southern Illinois. I think they can at least pull it off.
You forgot to ask me about this ranked one. It's the new ranked team, Marshall.
Oh, Boise State versus Marshall
at Boise State.
That's easy, but it's Boise State.
Dude, it's Marshall though.
Yeah, it's Boise State at
home. I get it. It's Boise State at home, but it's still Marshall.
I know. It's Boise State at home. That's the thing.
You think Sacramento State can beat Arizona State?
I don't know. Do you think pigs can fly?
I don't know.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get out of here because it's
Vanderbilt
getting hot.
at Purdue.
Vanderbilt at Purdue?
Yeah.
I'll take Purdue. Yeah.
That's a good one, actually. That might be a fun game to watch.
It might. Well, we got to get out of here because it's getting hot. It's getting late. And this is probably one of the longest episodes we've done in a long time. Tom, I know you're still padding around, but where can they find you, my man?
At McLovin6193 on Instagram and Twitter. By the way, I got Pink Whitney's. Let's go!
You showed us to him on stream.
6 bottles, by the way. Shh, don't tell my mom.
And if you guys want to find me on Twitter, you guys can find me at TheFluffyGuru. You can find me on Instagram at BoomCrewCaptain. What?
Real quick. Miami at North Carolina. It's your other favorite school. It's a good one. I wanted it.
North Carolina.
Miami almost won. Remember that.
North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm taking North Carolina.
All right, fair enough.
Because they got to come and play at UNC, right?
Yeah, Miami at North Carolina.
Yeah,
Again, that game might not play.
Right, yeah, that's true. But I'd still take North Carolina over
Fair enough.
there. You guys can find me on Instagram at BoomCrewCaptain, Twitter at TheFluffyGuru. If you guys want to follow us on Facebook, make sure to go at Team XMom Sports. Make sure to follow us there where you can see seasons 1 and 2. We're always posting the new episodes. We're always posting new stuff up there. You can always see the updates, things like that. So make sure to check that out. Follow us on Twitter at XMom Sports. Follow us on Instagram at XMom Sports. Follow us here on the YouTube page. Get whatever piece of paper you have in your hand right now out of your hand. I swear to God. I know you have it. Make sure to follow us here on the YouTube page. Like, comment, and subscribe right here on the YouTube page. Make sure to go check out Putting Up Points every Saturday from 12 to 2.
Trash.
I'm watching you. 12 to 2 on SportsTownChicago.com. You guys can find them on Facebook.
I want to do lower third for that. I want to say, make sure you tune into the most trash show ever, Putting Up Points.
Well, you gotta talk to. Well, I
Jake,
guess
can we do it? That's fine.
Okay,
We'll fix it for next week.
Yeah, or Saturday, whatever. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for us here on this show. You suck. That's gonna do it for us here on this show. We'll see you guys on Saturday, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, much love and peace out, Boom Crew.